Hi, everybody. Joe Chaffee here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, Southwest Suffolk County on Long Island. And they serve the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri state area with everything you need this spring, which includes mulch, topsoil, sand. And if we ever get a winter storm and we're running out of time, they still have winter weather supplies. 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. The watches and warnings map is busy this morning. We've got winter storm warnings up from eastern Nevada northeastward through the northern plains and into the Great Lakes and through upstate New York, well up into upstate New York, northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Advisories surrounding that. Ice storm warnings from northeastern Iowa into southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and also into southern Michigan. We also have winter storm warnings up from Oregon, southernmost Washington and Oregon, southward into California, and even some blizzard warnings are now up for the mountains in southern California as the extent of this storm goes pretty much from coast to coast today. And as we look on the satellite view, we are starting to actually see a little bit of tropical moisture spreading up into the Little Mississippi Valley from Oklahoma northeastward. You see the clouds that are back in the northern plains and through the Rockies in the west. Most of that is producing snow. In the northeast, we're beginning to see clouds arriving, and they'll be increasing as we go through the day. And there is severe weather risk that we should mention, and that will be for this later today and to tonight. The Storm Prediction Center is forecasting a slight risk of severe weather from eastern Oklahoma across Missouri into west central Illinois, and a marginal risk surrounding that. That comes, by the way, with a 2% tornado risk. On the radar this morning, this is as of 7 a.m., you can already see rain breaking out in Ohio and over into West Virginia and southwestern Pennsylvania, edging to the east. It's not all that cold in the Northeast, particularly in the areas in Connecticut and through the lower Hudson Valley, New Jersey, and eastern Pennsylvania. The coldest spots have dropped into the 20s, but the temperatures are going to rise relatively quickly as all of this moisture moves on in. And take a look at the surface map. You've got very cold air that is sitting over Michigan, Wisconsin, but particularly in the Dakotas where temperatures are below zero, single digits down into Nebraska, teens and single digits and below zero as we move our way up the Rockies. The boundary between the cold air and the very warm air runs across southern Illinois, cuts Kansas in half, and then swings through Colorado and into Wyoming. We also have a low back centered in southern Nevada, and that is pulling down cold air from the north down the west coast where they're having issues. In the southeast today, it's going to be very warm as temperatures are starting out in the 60s, and there will be a good deal of sunshine, particularly in the eastern half of the Gulf states and into the southeast, and we could see temperatures reach up into the 80s today. Precip amounts from this storm, we'll take a look at the 3-day liquid precip total, and we're not really looking at a whole lot in terms of precipitation. Uh, Basically, a quarter of an inch or less is going to come of this in eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. It's a little bit more as you head up into upstate New York and through Vermont, New Hampshire, and into Maine. And I think the issue of ice is a little more limited because we are seeing it slightly warmer this morning. Some ice accretion amounts, generally a tenth of an inch or less in most places, although there are a few pockets in western Massachusetts and also up in western New York where we could see up to a third of an inch of ice accretion. And as far as snow is concerned in the Northeast, we'll take a quick look at that, and you'll notice that you really have to go up well north of I-90 before you get into the 6-inch plus amounts, and even further north into the Adirondacks in northeastern New York, northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, where places will get a foot plus. But the amounts do tail off as you go further south. And of course, on the southernmost flank here, maybe there's a little bit of snow at the start that leaves a quick coating to an inch. All of this is going to happen basically north of Route 84. And WPC, this is the probability of at least 2 inches, and it runs from coast to coast, from California across Nevada and into Arizona and Utah, and then generally through the northern plains on eastward. This is taking us right through Saturday on the map. It's a 72-hour forecast, but all of this is obviously front end loaded with today. And if we put in the probability of at least 12, you'll see where the max areas are, and that's in southern Minnesota, central and northern Wisconsin, and the northernmost part of the lower peninsula of Michigan. And there we've got a 50% or higher probability of at least a foot, and about a 20 to 30% probability in northeastern New York, northernmost Vermont, New Hampshire, and into western Maine. So our storm system plays out low in Kansas, runs up northeast. There's a warm front that's pushing northward, so we'll have some rain developing this afternoon into tonight. Further inland, there'll be some ice. Even further inland as you go north into upstate New York toward I-90, it starts off as a period of snow. The low goes into northwestern Pennsylvania and then redevelops just east of southeastern New England, or over southeastern New England, I should say. There's another low back near Chicago. The precipitation will be coming to an end. Temperatures are going to be on the raw side today, and then tomorrow's a bit tricky with the highs because there's a warm front that's going to be laying just right through the forecast area. So if you're from central New Jersey, northeast PA to central New Jersey, southward, it's going to be in the 60s and 70s, and we'll probably see record highs. North and east of that, temperatures will be in the 40s, and in some places in the Hudson Valley and in southeastern New England, temperatures may not even get out of the 30s. Cold front goes by. We get a shot, another one of these shots of cold air that lasts all of about a day and a half. So we'll have temperatures more than likely falling through the 40s on Friday with clouds and some sun and a bit of a gusty breeze. Saturday morning will be in the teens and low 20s, probably back up into the not low and mid 30s for afternoon highs. Then on Sunday, we'll bounce up into the mid and upper 40s again as the high moves offshore. There are a couple of weak systems that will play through. Models are kind of differing as to whether we'll get into some maybe some showers later during Sunday afternoon and evening, maybe a little bit of snow in upstate New York and northern New England. And then Monday will start dry, but here comes the next storm system. And there's some model differences now as far as whether we'll get one deep low that goes to the lakes or something that's a little weaker and further east. A little bit of colder air may try to build down southward. We'll see if that winds up being reality or not. And we'll, of course, be talking about that tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. That'll be coming up tonight at 8:30 Eastern Time. Not our usual start time at 7:35, but 8:30 Eastern Time. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the phone number. The website, omnitruevalue.com. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 8:30 Eastern Time.